Ark of Osiris is one of the best and most enjoyable facets of Rise of Kingdoms. Stick around as we're going to go through the basics of Ark of Osiris. Whether you're a new player or a player who hadn't played very much and you want to get a chance to play Ark of Osiris for the first time in a while, we're going to go through all the basics, what it means, what it does, and how it works. We're also going to talk about Osiris League and how that works, and we're going to give you the information on the Silver League. So if you're not in an alliance and you want to go play with friends in other kingdoms, there is a modified version of Ark of Osiris for you to enjoy and have fun. So stick around while we go through it all right here. Welcome everybody in. I'm your boy, War Daddy Chatsky. I put out content all the time, just about daily. And when the makers of Rise of Kingdoms asked me to put this video together, I completely obliged. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through some basics of Ark of Osiris, okay? I'm gonna go through just the elementary, just the basics of how it works. If you're a new player, this is the video you wanna watch. If you're a player that's been playing a while, but you haven't really done much Ark of Osiris, you can get so much information out of this video. At the end of the video, I am going to have a tag to Cortex's video. Cortex is going to do something much more in depth that talks about really playing Ark of Osiris on a competitive level and how that translates for your alliance into Osiris League. So be sure to stick around for that. I'm going to have this video chopped up into different chapters so you can skip around and see how this stuff works. But the first thing we're going to talk about in Ark of Osiris is what it is. Okay, this is a game mechanic that comes around every 2 weeks. Okay, during the week, the officers of your alliance are going to get an announcement to say, hey, Ark of Osiris is this weekend. You need to sign up your team. You can sign up to 30 members of your team with 15 backups. Okay, this is a 30v30 battle, and your alliance is currently participating in Osiris League and cannot participate. So we are in Osiris League, but this particular Ark of Osiris is great to play for any alliance that's either building a team or you're in between Osiris leagues that are going on different seasons and you want to kind of keep your edge or try new players. This is a great way to do it. So for you new players, your alliance has got to start playing this immediately. The rewards are great. If you win, you get 10 gold heads, everybody on your team. If you lose, you get 5 gold heads, okay? And you get alliance rewards for all the members of your alliance. That includes alliance credits, that includes individual credits for the alliance shop. It includes all kinds of things. So the benefit of Ark of Osiris is so much fun, okay? And so with this being said, let's just kind of go through some of this stuff and how Ark of Osiris works, okay? It's really pretty simple. The battlefield is divided into a golden and silver battlefield. The golden battlefield is 1 hour. Okay, we'll get into the silver one later, but the golden battlefield is 1 hour, and you have up to 30 governors from your alliance that are going to partake in it. Okay, this is a game where you get points based on the structures that you occupy and based on the arcs that you win. We'll go through that in a few here, but this is a really cool thing. They have a roll call for each alliance, so you alliance leaders who sign up your alliance for Ark of Osiris, you're going to do a roll call. You're going to make sure you've got all of your players from your alliance in your team, and then you pick what time you want to play throughout the weekend. So you can play on Saturdays at different time, you can play on Sundays at different time. It's every 2 weeks. So you alliance leaders can pick based on your time zone for all your players what's going to be best for you. It's really simple and a lot of fun. You have one team coordinator that does this. You have to have at least one team coordinator, but you have coordinators all over the field. These are your officers. These are the people who run your battlefield skills. We'll go over that. They create the map markers and they change building garrisons, which is very important, okay? Each team can have up to 30 starters and 10 substitutes. Coordinators count as starters, okay? So you have to be able to play if you're gonna be a coordinator that's actually running the alliance skills in Ark of Osiris and doing the captain swaps and the garrison swaps of the structures and laying down markers. Substitutes can only be selected once the team has selected 30 starters, okay? The last team your alliance creates must have at least 15 starters. So you have to have at least 15 players to play. Okay, and all others must have 30 starters. Okay, so having 15 starters to play is really, really important. This is how the map is set up. All right, it's really pretty simple. Okay, you have two teams. One will be on the Iset side, which is the blue side, and the other team will be on the Seth side. Okay, and so when you look at this overall, the Ark is in the middle. Okay, and you have timers. So you enter the match and you teleport in. We'll go over that in a few. But this is the Ark. Okay, the Ark spawns every few minutes in the game. Okay, the temple of the house of the Ark of Osiris is a sacred coffin of a slain god. After the Ark appears, the temple summit, the two teams must compete for control over it. So you actually have to mine the Ark. You have to take your team to the middle. You have to have a big fight in the middle with the team you're playing against. And you got to have somebody designated to grab the Ark and start to take it. Okay, and if you manage it successfully, you get a lot of points. So you got to take the Ark, then you got to run it back to one of the buildings you have occupied. And I'm speaking on this from the side of the red side. Okay, so that's kind of how this works. The rewards, you got big rewards. These are the outposts. The outposts are generally giving you points. All the structures give you some form of points for your alliance. That's how you win. You try to get as many points as you can. There are 3 outposts in both areas. They give some benefit to some vision. They give some benefit to other things that you have, but they also give you the points, and it's a small amount of points, but it's really, really good. You have the Shrine of Wars. Now these come with buffs. These come with different troop buffs that your whole team gets if you have this particular structure occupied. Okay, the Shrine of War gives a lot more points than the outpost, gives a lot more points than the obelisk, but it's not as much as the altars. We'll get into that in a second, but the Shrine of War gives really good increases to attack and defense of all the team members of your team. Okay, then you have the Shrine of Life. Okay, there's 2 Shrine of Lives in here, and you have these different lanes that you fight in. This Shrine of Life is really, really good. It's just like the Shrine of War, but now you get health and march speed bonuses to your teams when you occupy them. They all count, and they all count for points, and they all count for buffs for your marches. You come over here, you get into the altar. The desert altars are very, very important, and these things are amazing, and you also have the sky altars. Okay, the altars are where you get the points. You get a maximum amount of points from the altars when you cap them, or when you basically take control of them and hold them. As long as you can hold them, you're going to rack up points for your alliance. Okay, and so when we come over here, you have the obelisks. Okay, now the obelisks don't give many points, but the obelisks are your HQ. They're your headquarters. They're the area you teleport to and you fight out of. You generally divide up your 30 players into 2 teams. Some people will run 16 on one side, 14 on the other, 15 and 15. Just depends on how you want to run your strategy as it gets more in depth. But you want to cap your obelisk. You want to keep it, because as long as you keep it, you can teleport players in here. You have different times for teleports. You want certain players to teleport first, and then as the game goes on and you keep these obelisks capped, you basically keep control of these obelisks, you can keep teleporting in your players in from the starting zone. Okay, you can still fight out of the starting zone, you can still participate in Ark out of the starting zone, but when you teleport to the obelisk, this is where you really start to put your offensives together and your defensives together, and this is where you start kind of your launch point from gathering for the Ark and then really making an Ark push. Okay, there's caravans out there. Now caravans are like resource points. Okay, they have these caravans, and we'll go through provisions. Provisions are basically the different types of resources you gain from the caravans, and they give you points. So a lot of times in close Ark matches, it'll be close and one team will appear to win, but the other team is bringing back all their caravans or bringing back all their gathering marches to their city, and when they do, they get more points, and sometimes they'll upend and win and beat the other team. So these are very, very important to consider when it comes to this. Okay, the rewards for this is how it works. All the members of the winning alliance receive the following rewards. This is all members. Okay, 2 teleports, great. Okay, and so from that standpoint, if all 30 players who participate, they get this right here. But these are complete alliance awards, not just the participants, but the whole alliance. That's why it's so important. You get all these individual credits. It's great. If your alliance gets beat, you still get rewards, but they did a valiant job. Everybody still gets rewards. Here's your individual rewards. Making sure you have 10,000 points. Anybody who fights an Ark can get to 10,000 points. It's really, really easy. Okay, but the winning side, this is what you get. You get 2,000 gems, awesome. You get over 2 days of speed ups on training, awesome. You get a troop expansion here. You get some experience here. You get a reserve here for when you're training a lot of troops, and you get 10 gold heads. It's absolutely amazing. The losing side, basically cut all that stuff in half, and it's still worth it. 100% worth it. It's just for an hour's worth of play. Okay, there are some other things that you have to learn about as we enter the map. You can't be in War Frenzy. You can't have troops outside of your city. Okay, you got to remember that. That will prevent you from entering into the match. So your leaders and your coordinators will tell everybody, hey, don't be in War Frenzy. Get all your troops back in your city because we're getting ready to start Ark. Everybody knows when the Ark is going to be, and your Ark will start, and then you'll be able to enter the battlefield and all the things to carry out the rest of the battle. Okay, so you have battlefield roles. You've got rallies and garrisons, just like a KVK. Okay, you want to put your garrisons and structures you want to hold. You want to rally the structures that the enemy holds. It's the same concept of a KVK, except you get to hold the structures instead of just trying to burn them. You get to hold them now, and you get the points for doing that. And your field is very, very important. Everybody's able to run 5 marches. Okay, so even if you're a rally player, you got a rally going, but you need the rest of your 4 marches to the middle. We always call it the mid call. You go to the middle to fight for the Ark. It's very, very important. Okay, the match timeline is really, really cool. You can place markers even before the match even starts. So your coordinator, even if you're not in voice on Discord or whatever you use to communicate with your alliance, you can put up markers and let people know where to go and what to do and how to do it. You can do those plannings. It's really, really simple. Okay, you have a couple different periods. The obelisks and outposts will be unshielded first. That's why you have to march to the obelisk as quick as possible and capture that. That way you hold it for a couple of minutes and then you can teleport in. It's really, really good. And then period 2 is when all the remaining buildings open, all the altars open, all the shrines open, everything opens, and you got to be ready to go capture those. That's what makes it a lot of fun. And then the third period is the Ark of Osiris will appear. So when the Ark of Osiris appears in the middle, you have to time it out to bring your marches there, fight off the enemy, grab the Ark, and then retrieve it back to one of your occupied buildings you have, or to a city in your obelisk zone. Okay, that's the best way to get to get the Ark back to where you get points. You get a lot of points from the Ark. It's really, really simple. There are all kinds of different things that you have. You have sandstorm. It obstructs your view, so you can't necessarily see anything except for what your marches have, but you have some skills and you have some things that you can use to see more on the map. Okay, so there's all kinds of different things. There's hidden sentries that we talked about. I just said that's like a little outpost or like a little torch you put out there, and you can see the area that you don't have marches in, and it's really, really effective to use. Okay, the hidden sentries are really, really good. And so with that being said, you have other things like Shu's Favor. This is something at the very beginning to give you increased march speed. That's to get out of the starting zone with all your marches and get going in the match. It speeds the match up and makes it much easier, okay? And then you will not be able to use Ark of Osiris skills that affect march speed while the march bonus of Shu's Favor is in effect, okay? So you don't want to use hard push, or you don't want to use any kind of march speed skills while that is going on, okay? Then you have spectator mode and all that different stuff. Here is a skill system. This is really cool. Managing and using skills. Team coordinators can equip their team's battlefield skills via the skill tab and the management page. And in addition to the default skills, each team can select up to 6 skills. Skills can only be used by the coordinators, okay? You have skill energy. So basically the energy ramps up over time. It's kind of like it is in Soroli or some of the other gameplays, where you have to wait till that energy builds up so you can use the skills. The skills affect different things. And as the energy bar grows, you're able to use skills that take up a certain amount of points in your energy bar. And then you have cooldowns for all your skills. That's kind of how that works. Running charge is an easy one. You can go through these skills, get march speed up to 30 allied troops within a certain area for 100% for 6 seconds. That's great at trying to leave with the Ark and get it out of the way, or trying to get to a certain structure in time. You have swift stride. It's kind of the same thing, but it's for all your troops. It's basically for all the the troops on the map. We're running charges just for 30 troops that are on the map. You have hard push. This is something that's very important. Rallied armies get 50% march speed, and they deal 30% more damage. It's very, very good for when you're running rallies. War drums. This is one that's very common in the mid fights for the Ark, because you're basically going to give all the allied troops in your area an attack bonus of 80% for 180 seconds. For 2 minutes, you're just going to lay down so much more attack. A lot of cooldown on that one. There's tear down when you're trying to get a structure taken down. This puts more attack on the structure, and it increases that attack by 40%. Okay, mythical formation. This is really cool because up to 30 allied troops in a certain area, you increase their defense by 50% for 180 seconds. Valiant Stand is kind of the opposite of Teardown. This allows the garrison, garrison to increase their defense by 25%. It's great for garrisons if you're trying to hold an outnumbered structure. Okay, timely support for 180 seconds. Governors can use this to heal severely wounded units in the war camps at 300% of their current healing speed. It's great. It absolutely works out well. Insatiable Desire increases all troop gathering speed. This is great for provisions. Bog Down. This is what you use to slow down an Ark carrier or to slow down a mass of the enemy, and they're trying to get to your structure, or they're trying to get to your Ark carrier. You slow them down, and you can use that. Desert Storm's another one that actually does damage to an area of your enemy. Okay, Sneaky Tactics is insane. Sneaky Tactics is great for hiding your troops that can march all the way across the field, and they give you more, and also get more march speed, and they can't see you. Okay, you can take a small murder ball or a small group of players, and they can go other places. It's great. There's Heaven's Grace, which does some healing, which is wonderful. To the Death is probably the most potent field skill there is. Okay, you're going to increase the damage by 100%, and you're going to have damage reduction by 30% for 60 seconds. It's massive for mid-fight. Okay, Master Strategy. 26 seconds after casting this skill, it teleports up to 30 allied troops anywhere on the map to a specific location. The troops gain 50% attack for 180 seconds. Master Strategy is amazing. We recently saw a massive upset in Osiris League, and one of the reasons why it was a massive upset is because the team that was the underdog that ended up winning used Master Strategy to take the opposing team's obelisk. It was crazy how that worked. You've got Dust Up, obviously. This increases the visual range of all enemy troops and occupied buildings by 50%, and their damage for 10% for 180 seconds. You got Total Vision, which basically lets you see the whole map. You got Fire Arrows. This is a normal damage, a range skill damage situation, stocking up. This is for a provisional stuff. Energetic is a good one too. While the skill is active, your team gains 150% more energy points whenever it gains energy points. Okay, it lets you ramp up your energy points much faster. Okay, and so you got that for a good period of time to where you can get more energy points for skills. You have Inferno. This is really, really cool. You immediately lose the hidden status, and after 30 seconds, 30 seconds around it bursts into flames, and flames of 18 seconds, and the troop cannot hide status. Okay, so this is kind of something new that they've come up with. You've got Time Warp. It resets all the cooldowns on all the battlefield skills. Your next battlefield skill costs 100% fewer energy bars to use. You have No March. For the next 300 seconds, your team captures buildings 60 seconds faster and gains and occupies. Okay, and then there's Sun Sailor. Okay, Sun Sailor is a really good one. It's relatively new. You select 2 locations on the map and place polar barks. Okay, or barques, if you will. 60 seconds later, the barques will activate. Any troop regardless of team that gets within range will be teleported to the other one and gain 50% march speed for 10 seconds. Okay, so it's really, really cool how that thing works, and players are using it more and more. So those are all the skills that you have when it comes to Ark of Osiris. And what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of take you through what it's like to see some of this. Okay, I'm going to take an Osiris League. I'm going to take an Osiris League game that had happened recently. Let me come over here. We'll go to the we'll go to the playoffs, and then we'll go to the round of 16. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a particular Ark of Osiris that happened, and we're going to see how this thing worked out. Let's watch this one between 903, okay? So this is how it works. The battle starts, okay, and it starts right here. And once the battle starts, you're going to see all these teleports from this team come in. You're going to see the same thing on this team. Now, they're timing out their teleports because they want certain players teleporting in at certain times. So everybody is coordinating to teleport at a certain time. So you're going to start seeing these teleports fire up here in just a few seconds for this particular team, okay? But before that, let's look at this. If you're on this side, you can see this one going, and now you're going to start seeing all these teleports starting to file in, okay? You have your outposts. We talked about the outposts and how it gives a small amount of points. You get 80 points for the first occupation and then 30 points per minute for continuously for these outposts. So you have 3 right here. Then you have your obelisks right here and right here, okay? Those are the obelisks you want to control. That's where your marches or your cities are going to be able to teleport into, and you're going to be able to fight from there. Then you have these different lanes. You got inside lane on the bottom, which is Shrine of War on this side, Desert Altar on this side. Then you have outside lane on the bottom, which is Sky Altar on this side, and Shrine of War or Shrine of Life on this side. Again, we talked about these. The shrines give a good amount of points. They get 400 occupation points and then 80 points per minute. The shrines give you good points, but the altars give you so many more points, 150 points a minute. However, there are no active buffs that you get. And we talked about this with the shrine, you get attack and defense. And with the Shrine of Life, you get health and march speed, okay? And so those are the structures you want to occupy right here. And so this is the Ark of Osiris in the middle. As you can see, there's already a timer on it, 13, let me see here, see if I can get the 13 minutes and 23 seconds that the Ark will be released. So now all these players are getting ready. Now they still have a minute before this barrier unfolds and then all the marches go out. So what you're going to see in here are all these different players. 30 players jumped in and they're ready to go to battle. So you're going to see all these marches pop out of here in just a few seconds, okay? In 45 seconds, you're going to see them out. The first thing they want to do is go cap these, go put a march in these outposts and get to the obelisk as fast as they can because the timer starts. Once you take an obelisk, okay, an obelisk is open. Once you take it, you have to cap it for 2 minutes, and then you immediately get to port in all of your players. Okay, and so from that standpoint, you're going to see these teams be able to push out their marches, and they're going to go to a certain specific area. They're already going to start the lane fighting. They're already going to go try to get to the desert altar as fast as possible. Now you got to remember, these things open later, so you have time to get to them. So watch this. Watch all these marches just come flying out of here with 0 seconds. Now all these marches, look, there they go. Look at them all. They're all going out. Everything's going out. Everybody's going out. Here's your T1 march. This is typically a fast march that people use to put into the obelisk. They're going to go into the obelisk over here, and they're going to grab it as fast as possible. This is a very strategic situation because you got to understand that there's a rhythm to this game, and you got to understand that it's played at a very, very high level. And when I say played at a high level, as intricate a details as you can get, down to the marches you run, down to the speed of the marches. This is a CC, a cow that's running T1 marches. It gets to the obelisk faster. There's no enemy over here, so there's no point in trying to have to fight anything. So you want to get to these things as fast as possible. You can already see over here on this side, they've already taken the obelisk. Zenith is here running his belly. He's going as fast as he can, and he's trying to do some things. These are the hidden sentries we talked about. Hidden sentries allow this team in red to see what's going on. They can see what the enemy's doing. You're going to see this right here. This is FYN. He's going to jump into this obelisk, and the minute he does, you're going to see a timer. So anytime you take a structure, all these timers have certain amounts of times. I said 2 minutes before, it's actually 3 minutes to get your obelisk capped. And once it's capped, you'll see different cities in here. So there's nobody in this obelisk now, but the blue team is going to bring a rally in here. They're going to put a garrison in here to protect it because the red team's probably going to try to get it. Okay, so if you look up here on the map, you can see the obelisks up here and the obelisks up here have already been taken by the blue team. The same thing down here with the red team. And you can just see all the marches. Look at this. They're all going to their respective lanes, and they're all getting ready to go fight and do what they want to do. So it's a very easy way to do this. So this is a very basic understanding of how this works for Ark of Osiris. So we just wanted to give you that basis of understanding so everybody knows. Okay, so now with that, you got the general consensus of how this thing works, how provisions work, how the skill systems work, how that 30v30 and how you set up your teams. Now we're going to talk about the Silver Battle League. This is a 15v15. Now you don't have to do this as an alliance. You can sign up for this as an individual player. I do it all the time. If I can't play Ark at the time my alliance has a time on Sundays at 2:20 UTC, I can't play that, but I can play like Saturday at 4 UTC. Then I can sign up myself for just a random Ark. This is what we call random Arks. You can go into a Silver League, you can sign up, you're randomly going to be placed unless you invite team members from other kingdoms. You can be randomly placed or build your own team and run a 15v15. The difference with this one is there are a lot of differences when it comes to the rewards, because in the Silver League you just basically get half the rewards. You only have 30 minutes. It's only a 30-minute Ark, and you're only going to run one lane, okay? There's all kinds of things to look at when it comes to these different types of arcs that you have. And the Silver League is only going to be one map. It's pretty simple how this thing works out. Let me see if I can come in here when it comes to structures. We'll go to the Silver. And the structures, you basically have one lane. You have two obelisks, one on each side, and then you have shrines. There's the Ark. You have the Shrines of War, who are both on this side, and then you have the Shrines of Life, who are on this side, okay? Then you have the altars that sit in the middle of those respective lanes, okay? And so that's how that's done. Here are the two obelisks. It creates an easy situation for the Silver Ark. You still have the caravans, which help you with your provisions, and it's a real easy, simple way to play it. If you just want to go play with friends in other kingdoms or friends in other alliances, it gives you that option. So Silver League is like Ark of Osiris, but it's just condensed. It's only 30 minutes long. It's only a 15v15 battle, okay? So from there, when you get into more of the sophisticated style of play and these Seasons of Osiris League come around, we are in season 9, guys. This is massive. There are events in the games that let you bet on teams. There are events in the games that let you put coins into thinking who's going to win a particular realm. There are 4 different realms. There's Horus, Anubis, Bastet, and Sobek. And so when you have this, these teams that are playing have been fighting in these Ark of Osiris leagues every week, just continuously. I mean, it has been really, really crazy how this stuff has worked out. And now we're into the round of 16 of Osiris League. So your team, you lock them in, and then you can go with your team at the beginning of the season. Now there's one point in the team where you can change out team members, but basically who you pick is who you're going to fight with every week. This is a weekly situation. So it's basically you're playing Ark of Osiris, but OL is what we refer to as the competitive playoff for your realm. That's how we do it. Otherwise, you're playing Ark of Osiris every other week, and you're just playing against whoever. Okay, and it's a lot of fun. So this is the more competitive angle. Cortex will have more about OL in general, and he'll get really into strategies of how that works. So his video will pop up at the end of this one, so you understand a lot about that. Okay, and so it's a lot of fun to see how this stuff works out for OL seasons, and they will have seasons for an extended period of time. This season has a rest period here, and then you come over here that you're going to have to be determined some of the dates of the champion, and then it'll take a few months off where everybody's just playing Ark of Osiris every couple of weeks, okay? So when you get yourself good enough and you get used to playing Ark of Osiris and you put a team together and you're winning every other week and you're enjoying the game as you've just started, and you get to a point to where Osiris League sign up comes up, you want your alliance to go participate in that, because you get all the benefits and rewards from like you do for Ark of Osiris, but you get to play every week in Osiris League, and you get more and more rewards for all the rounds you can make it through, and you compete with all the other alliances in the game in your particular realm. So with that being said, that covers plenty of it when it comes to Ark of Osiris. Again, It's so much fun. One of the most enjoyable things to do in this game, and I encourage everybody to do it. Have a great time with it. Learn how to play. We went through everything. You can go back and look at the chapters here. We went through what it is, how it signs up, what the coordinators do, who are your officers. We went through all those logistics of it. We went through mechanics of the structures and how you gain points. We went through mechanics of the Ark of Osiris, how you gain points from that and taking it back to your structures. We went through the points that you can generate with provisions. We went through the skills you can use and all the basic stuff you got to know. So enjoy yourself. Go try it out. Trust me, if you ever get beat in Ark of Osiris, if you sign up your alliance and you get beat, just go again, because every single player in this game of Rise of Kingdoms that's played Ark of Osiris has lost one time or another. So don't think losing's bad. You just go on to the next couple of weeks. You learn from your mistakes and you get better and better. And with that, we wanted to give you as much information as we could. I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. At the end of this video, you're going to see an end screen for Cortex. Click on that, and you go into more in-depth strategy on how to win Ark of Osiris and how to really do well with your team in Osiris League. So stick around for that. And I thank everybody for jumping in and hanging out with us. And we encourage everybody to play Ark of Osiris, enjoy the game, and love it like we do, because you guys know that we love playing this game. And until next time, we'll see you, broskies.